Hey, good morning everyone. Welcome back to Outpost Review. As you can see, I've actually got this section of the wall done. We got the windows put in. Actually got the boards on the outside. I still lack the battens from the end, but while I had help, I wanted to take advantage of that because this was the most complicated section actually, because I had to disassemble the chimney, had to take it down, had to run the boards across, actually had to insulate behind this rock board right here and get the hole cut out so that I could insert everything back in and get everything, the chimney actually built back. And I actually raised it up. Originally, you know, I wasn't concerned with any radiated heat from this pipe, which I had a lot of comments off of that if I'd run it up higher, because I wanted a mantelpiece back here. I figured that this would put out enough heat once I got the radiant barrier up and once the walls were insulated and everything. But I got to thinking that, you know, over time that what I might want to do is raise that chimney up some more. And those sections, let me show you. These sections right here of this pipe are $100 for, I think it's a 3-foot joint. So by buying a little bit more black pipe, I could actually raise it up another section. I haven't determined whether I'm going to do that or not. I'm going to see how this is going to draw once I get all this installed here. But I will, this is a whole lot cheaper right here. This is about $14 a joint as compared to $100. Now outside I really don't need this triple wall stuff, but it does look better and it is insulated. I especially needed that going through the roof. But I went ahead and matched it all up so it was all the same. I think it was around $700 just to build it out up enough high enough with this type of material right here to get it to where it would draw up past the roof. But I decided to go ahead, go with the black pipe in order to be able to raise it up some more if I want to extend, if I want to have it like 3 feet above the roof. So I went and purchased a couple more sections of this to turn and go out here. And everything out there now is mounted permanently. So anyway, that's my project for today, is to try to get this back together. We're not going to have that many more colder days until springtime, because if you can hear all the frogs in the background, somebody said something about crickets, but they're actually frogs. Down there in the meadow, they're hollering springtime is here. So pretty soon it'll be planting season. So I've got to get this last section buttoned up here so that I can get on to putting in more raised beds, because I've already started selling plants at the hardware store. So anyway, that's my project for today. But what I wanted to talk to you guys today was about self-reliance. So let me get me a seat and we'll talk a little bit about that. You know, it's a whole lot better for shooting film inside here now that I've got the natural light and I don't have that plastic background up there, because what was happening was the camera was basically focusing on that and instead of on the subject that was right before it that I was trying to film. So but yeah, I'm really liking be able to finish the inside here and actually film you know, for you, and hopefully it'll turn out a little bit better. Anyway, I was wanting to talk a little bit about self-reliance. You know, when I was growing up on the farm, we were pretty much self-reliant, other than the fact that we did have electricity when we moved here and my grandparents built their home over there. But everything else, you know, I think I've mentioned this before, that we raised 3 gardens every year. 2 of them were for my grandfather's policyholders and 1 of them was for us. Now they were fairly large gardens, probably a ½ an acre apiece. But we planted everything. And my grandmother, she knew how to can, so we had, down in the basement, we had freezers where we had livestock, you know, that we would work up, like, you know, pork in the fall. And we always would work up about 2 hogs in the fall, and we would put those in the freezer. And then we had raised some cattle where my grandfather would take that to the butcher. Now we always did the the pork ourselves, but it was a much larger, piece of meat, so he would take that to the butcher and have it worked up, and then we would put that in the freezer. And then we had all the canned food, on shelves that my grandfather built. We also had a root cellar up there, which I intend to build one out here. But not, I don't have to have anything like the size that a family would need, so mine can just be small. Anyway, we always had food that, throughout the winter time up into the spring, and then which would be planting season again. So my point is, even when we lived in the city, my grandmother, she would plant different types of vegetables within the flower garden. Because, when they're growing up, they all look green, right? Well, then they start to have flowers on them, and they kind of mix in with the rest of the flowers in the, basically ours was border type flower beds, because we would have a fence, between the houses in the city, and she would plant within the border, the flower border, she would plant different things, so also behind the garage, I can remember that my grandfather would till up behind the garage, because between the back of the garage and the fence, nobody hardly ever went back there. So he would use that as a garden area, and so did my neighbor. He liked to grow rhubarb, but my grandfather would grow different things like potatoes and onions and stuff like that. And my grandmother, she would also grow onions, within the flower bed. So there's, and dill and carrots and different types of things that you can actually grow. Even if you're living in the city, you can do that, and you can have a small portion or a sense of self-reliance, and a lot of you may do that. But we did that because, they came from the South and they were used to growing their own stuff. And of course, they had a farmer's market that I can remember as a kid going to. And actually, what was it, about 2 years ago, I was up there visiting, and I said, "Is that farmer's market still here?" And they said, "Yeah." Now, this was from back in the 60s. And so they took me by there. Of course, it looked different, but they still have a farmer's market there. Because a lot of the people, instead of going to the stores, the produce tastes a whole lot better coming from a farmer's market than it does, grown and processed commercially. So that is the reason that I'm putting these raised beds out here. First of all, because I can't do anything with that bank out there. I could probably put some polyethylene on it, and put mulch in there to where the weeds wouldn't grow, and then I would have to stake that down and probably, do something to try to hold the mulch in place so that it didn't slide down in big rain. But I thought, why should I do that when I can actually put in raised beds, okay, that will keep it from eroding, and then I can also utilize that space that can't really be used for anything else other than viewing landscape, like I was talking about doing the mulch and maybe planting something in there. I could actually plant a garden area by using tiered sections of raised beds, and to have a small walkway in between and be able to, reach on both sides as long as it's not too wide, the bed, and be able to reach in there and work it up and grow different things, and have it right here behind the house. I am going to build a deck where that back door is, and I can actually walk off the back deck and have some steps go up to the bank, and actually be able to build a small walkway over to the outdoor kitchen. I can have, step off from the porch there where I can walk between my raised beds, and I can raise my own produce. It doesn't mean that I'll have everything, like I won't have fruits and things like that, because we've tried raising fruit trees here, but the frost that we have in the early spring, it seems to always get them. My point is that I won't be able to do everything, but the bulk of the produce that we can eat and that we can actually grow right here. I'm probably not going to plant potatoes or corn or anything like that. My daughter thinks that buying corn is probably a whole lot less work and less, expensive because it doesn't cost that much. But, it's fun. So I may go ahead and raise some of that, but I'll probably do it in another area where I can actually till it up with a tractor And because the potatoes, I wouldn't be able to produce that many in those raised beds. But, you know, things like beans, you know, that can climb, the tomatoes, the peppers, onions, carrots, lettuce, things of that nature, you know, I can grow in those raised beds and probably be able to generate as much as I need for canning purposes for the winter. Now, what does this all mean to me as an individual? Well, first of all, you know, when you grow up, and especially my generation, you know, a lot of times, you know, we grew up depending on a system. My grandparents grew up depending on themselves. And then, you know, after the war and everything, you know, the system began to get put into place, and it was really easy to go to the grocery store and buy whatever you needed, or go to the farmer's market and buy whatever you needed, you know, and it just seemed to work. But as you've seen recently, based on some of the things that's happened, not only in this country but worldwide, the system began to fail. And, you know, people, the demand for things that were needed exceeded the ability to supply it. So what I'm talking about is kind of like, you know, the deal with the toilet paper and the paper towels. And I can remember, you know, going recently, not that too far back, and, you know, a lot of the canned goods were gone. A lot of the packaged food, like, you know, rice, beans, they were gone. All the meat section, it was gone. So you can't really rely on a system. You know, you couldn't get any paper goods, and it was basically because people were hoarding it. Not that they actually needed it, but they bought it up just so that their family, you know, in the event that something would happen, they would have it. Whereas, you know, now things, the supply, you know, has got more abundant, and, you know, it was just because companies were cutting back and less was being supplied, therefore the demand was greater. Not that we weren't able to produce it, but, you know, they weren't shipping it. So anyway, my point is that, you know, in order to be self-reliant, probably you should make plans in the event that something was to happen like that again, because you've seen how the system went down and it wasn't able to supply the needs of the people. Probably it would be a smart thing to do, and my grandfather always did this because, you know, there were times back when they were growing up during the Depression where, you know, they didn't have things. So whenever he would find a sale on things, and believe me, he was the type of guy that would drive across town to save a nickel and actually spend 50 cents in gasoline, but his heart and his mind were in the right place. What he would do is he would find things that were on sale, and he would purchase that in bulk, just like you can go to some of these warehouses that sell in bulk. But you need to get things, you know, that don't spoil. But things like, you know, the paper goods and dry goods, things that you would need in order to be able to survive, that you use on a daily basis. And so recently I have been purchasing paper goods. I don't go to the store and buy a whole lot of it just so that the next person that comes in, it's not available and they're going to have to wait till they ship more in. But if I need one, I buy an extra one, because what I've started doing is I've started making a stock of, you know, paper goods basically, and dry goods. I have rice and beans that will last a long time that I can actually put away in the event that something was to happen. And being able to can things, you know, if you have that ability and you know how to do it. If you don't, there are a lot of, you know, YouTube is a gold mine. You can find videos there that will teach you how to do these things. My daughter's going to come up this year and teach me how to can because she knows how. But if she didn't, you know, I could go to YouTube and I could find out how to do that. If you would like to build something like this, you can go to YouTube and find the ways and the means to do any type of construction. If you want to do anything, you can find it on YouTube. You know, I've had people say, well, I would love to do what you're doing, but I don't know how. Well, that excuse doesn't work when you have YouTube. You know, I've had family members to say the same thing, you know, and I would mention to them, well, go to YouTube. Oh, you're always talking about YouTube. It has basically taken the place of Britannica. Do you remember that? Encyclopedias, the guys that used to come and sell those at the door.
at your door, knock on the door, and they had encyclopedias to sell. I remember that my grandmother bought a set of Britannica, when I was in school, because that's what we used. Today the internet and YouTube is like Encyclopedia Britannica. You can find anything, any kind of information that you want on YouTube. So anything that you want to do, that you want to accomplish, that you don't know how to do, you can find that on YouTube and you can do it. The other thing that I get a lot of times is, I would love to do it, but I can't, I'm going to tell you something. I'm 62 years old. I'll be 63 this year. I have a lot of handicaps, things that I don't know how to do. But like I said, I can find it on YouTube. Motivation, desire, discipline, I've never really had a problem with that. And that has served me to be able to do the things that I needed to do. If I had an idea like building this cabin, I was motivated, I was disciplined, and I had the desire to do that. All I needed to do was have the know-how to do it. And if I didn't have any previous experience, like I said, I could find that online. So, I get a lot of comments sometimes from people, who say that they have physical issues and stuff like that. I have a lot of that myself, but I find a way, to do it. Because honestly, I'll tell you, any excuse works as long as you use it. So I try to work around any excuse that I might have personally to make sure that whatever that project is that I want done gets done. Now, a lot of times I have to get help, or I might have to hire it done, but my point is that there's a lot of things that you can do by just getting out there and making it happen. I know a lot of people who use excuses, and I'm not pointing any fingers, but they use excuses and they never get anything done because they just, I guess it's a lack of motivation or it's a lack of discipline, and so they come up with some sort of reason why they can't do it. And there's nothing that you can't do and nothing that you can't accomplish if you set your mind to it. If you want to go out there and do something, there is no reason why you can't do it. Either doing it yourself by studying that, researching it, finding it online, and learning how to do that, or getting some help from somebody, whether it's family, friends, or neighbors, to help you do that. You can accomplish those goals. Don't lose your dream and say, well, I can't do this because I can't, because as long as you use that excuse right there, it's going to hold you back from accomplishing your dreams. Hey guys, we thought we'd take a little break. It is that time of the month again. We'll go home shortly and announce the winners for the month of January, or actually the month of February, for both channels. And then I thought what I would do is go ahead and tell you for the month of March, we're on our main channel, Smoky Mountain Outpost, we're going to give away 2 of these tornado lanterns by Dietz. They have a huge base on them for fluid. They have a really nice wick in there. They're black, they're gold, has a really nice handle right here. And I got these mainly because, I'm out in the woods, but also if the power ever goes out, which we have that quite often in this area. Of course, I'm not on, I'm off grid, but when you do have power, if the power goes out, you need some sort of a backup. Batteries don't last that long. As long as you've got fluid, you can operate these right here. So we thought that we would give away 2 of these. Let me show you. Really nice lanterns by Dietz. So like I said, we're going to give away 2 of these on the Outpost channel, and we're going to give away 1 of these on the Review channel. That's our smaller brand channel. So you do have a chance to win 3 of these if you're actually watching both channels. If you're not, might I suggest go over there, check out our review channel. It's more behind the scenes on what we're doing. It's called Outpost Review. And if you're watching the Outpost Review channel and you haven't checked out our main channel, Smoky Mountain Outpost, I suggest you do that. So, like I said, the month of March, 2 of these very nice tornado lanterns by Dietz, and 1 of them on the review channel. So you all be sure and take advantage, make a comment on this video and make a comment in the review channel video if that's the only one that you're watching. That way you get in on a chance on either channel. If you're on the Outpost channel, make a comment there, and if you're watching the review channel, make a comment there to win the one on the review channel. So we want to wish everybody the best of luck, and I think that you'll be really these are really nice, yeah, aren't they?
They're really nice.
They're not real heavy, but they're not, you know, toys either. I tried to get you know, a really nice lantern. You can get those railroad lanterns, which I would love to have one of those, but they can get a little bit pricey. But these right here, I watched a lot of bushcraft. A lot of the people have the ones that are made by Dietz, and so I figured I'd go ahead and get a couple of these, and they're really, really nice. So best of luck to you. Well, hey guys, I'm back home now, and I've got the computer all ready to go so that we can pick the winners for the month of February for the DeWalt drill and for the little Japanese handsaw. Now I do have to apologize. I don't know what I was thinking, because when I was doing the giveaway, I said that we are going to give away the DeWalt drill on the Outpost channel. We're going to do the handsaw on the review channel, but I didn't actually put it on the review channel, so I do apologize for that. So the only way that I can really rectify that is I'm going to draw 2 winners from the comments that I did on that video on the Outpost channel, but I will try not to make that mistake again next month. So please forgive me for doing that. I'm human and I'm bound to make mistakes. So let's go ahead and turn around here and we'll see who the lucky winners are. Okay, right here is the giveaway that I was talking about, the Japanese handsaw and the DeWalt drill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this URL, and then I'm going to go to the random picker. I'm going to insert that in there, and then I'm going to get all the comments that were made. I'm going to do 2 drawings, okay? So we're going to start the raffle here. This will be for Smoky Mountain Outpost, our main channel for the DeWalt drill. So it looks like Irene LM, you are the winner for Smoky Mountain Outpost, the DeWalt drill. I'm writing this down. And then what we're going to do is go right back up here. Let's see, no, we will just pick another winner with those same comments. Now this will be for the handsaw for the review channel. So here we go. And it looks like Charles, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Roar, you are the winner for the Outpost review channel for the Japanese handsaw. So Irene, you are the winner for Smoky Mountain Outpost channel for the DeWalt drill, and Charles, you are the winner for the Outpost review channel for the Japanese handsaw. Congratulations to both of you, and now make sure that you drop us an email on our Smoky Mountain Outpost at gmail.com account, because we can't do it any other way, and we don't want any public information of your address or anything out there. So that is the only way that we will accept contact for these giveaways, is through our Gmail account. So drop us a line within the next, I'm going to have to change it to 30 days. I did say 2 weeks, but by that time, if we don't get a winner, then, you know, when it comes time to draw again, I can't draw in 2 weeks because I only do this on a monthly basis. So I'm giving you 30 days to contact us, and otherwise if you don't, then we will just draw another name the next time the giveaways come around. So anyway, Irene, Charles, drop us an email, like I said, on our account there. Let us know your address and how that we can get those items to you. Congratulations to both of you. Now let's get back to the video. You know, if you've ever thought about moving out into the farming area or moving out into the wilderness, kind of like where I'm at, I'm not totally remote, but I'm way out in the sticks, believe me. If you've ever thought about doing anything like that, you can do that. My suggestion is, go for it. There's a lot of people that are moving from town. They're buying up property out in, like I say, the farming community and out in more remote places because of a lot of the events that's transpired in the last year and the last 2 years. So, that there is availability, for you to be able to do that. My suggestion is, to try to find an area that's undeveloped, like where I'm at, where you don't have that many restrictions or you don't have that many inspectors to be able to do what you want to do. But it's your decision. It depends on how far out you go. But there are ways that you can afford something like that. When we first moved here, my grandfather found this property. It was 200 acres. He went and talked to my uncle and he talked to my dad. They went in partners and they purchased this property. Now, if you're looking at something that has a lot of timber, like this property had here, they hired somebody to select cut the timber, and they would walk around with them and say, this is what we want done. And they just about paid for this whole property with the use of the cutting of the timber, okay? There was very little left over that they had to split and pay together. If you find some people that are willing to go in with you, you can go out and you can find property and you can develop like a little community, chop it up into sections, and you can actually be able to go out and move to an area like this if that's your desire. Like I say, all you need is the motivation, the dream, and the discipline to go for it, and you can make it happen. I know a lot of people had sold everything that had a dream like that and basically went out and started over. Even my great-grandparents, they were, I think they were in their 60s when they left and moved up north. They had sold everything, and they went up there and they started their life over again. So I don't think that you're ever too old to do that. It just, it depends on if you have a dream or not. But that's what we did. You can also go out and you can find property, and if you wanted to, build these little Airbnb, because there's always people that are looking to travel and rent those as opposed to staying in a hotel. So if you had a piece of property, say 5 acres that you found, you could put your little Airbnb on there and do something like that. But there's all types of possibilities that you could come up with that would allow you the ability to go out and to do something like what I'm doing here, to be able to have your own place and be out from the rat race and the city and not be so reliant on a system that could totally fail, like the issues that it had here recently. So I think that being self-reliant, is a very important thing, especially in today's age, because of the different things that are happening around the world, and you having the ability to do for yourself instead of depending on someone else. Anyway, guys, I'm not going to continue ranting. I do appreciate you stopping by and checking in on the channel here. I was thinking on the way out here, I've got a big, massive project going on this homestead, and it really feels good to be reliant on myself. I don't have anybody that I have to answer to. Anyway, that's my point, is to try to be as self-reliant as I can, as much as possible, to be able to live out the rest of my days up here where there's peace, there's quiet. It's tranquil up here. The only noise that I hear are the frogs down there, an occasional dog barking, maybe a chainsaw in the background, because this is kind of a farming community, even though it's really remote. But I mean, I've lived in the city a lot of my life, but I started to say most, but I've lived in the country most of my life. But I wouldn't trade this for the finest home downtown with everything at my disposal. I would rather work for whatever I need out here and have the peace of mind and everything that goes along with living out here, and just be happy, you know. And like I said, you know, I don't hear anything out here. It's just put your mind at ease, you know. You can just open up, and it's just something about nature that actually relaxes you and opens up your mind, and you can think about all kinds of things. And while I'm working out here, my mind is just off somewhere else, you know, thinking about something else. So anyway, guys, glad that you stopped by. Hope everyone has a great day. Thank you for all the support that you give us on both of our channels. We hope that you have a great day. Take care. We look forward to seeing you back up here at the cabin again next time.